When you feel depresso, have a little espresso. Hello, what's up everyone? This is Sir Coffee Guy here. This is my first YouTube video. I'm going to be covering the Nether Snapshot that came out a couple days ago. I know I'm kind of late to it, but figured to give it a shot anyway, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so as you may or may not know, there have been two new types of wood added. There is the crimson stem and the warped stem. This is warped, this is the crimson. And you can make a bunch of different things out of planks with it. So you can make signs, you can make trapdoors, you can make doors, more trapdoors, buttons, pressure plates, fences, fence gates, slabs, stairs, and then regular plank blocks. With the different log kind of variants, you can have the warped stem and crimson stem as regular blocks, as regular items. You can also strip them of their bark, just like with all the other wood types, and then you get the nice strip variants. Over here, different plant life pieces, you'll find different biomes, which I'll be showing you in a minute. This is warped Nelium and crimson Nelium, which Neliums are kind of like grass block equivalents, but for netherrack, rather than dirt. This is the warped block, and then there's basically another warp block. This thing's called Shroomlight. Shroomlight can be found in a lot of nether trees. These are called weeping vines. They will spawn, they spawn naturally on crimson trees instead of just warped ones, they spawn on just crimson trees, not warped ones. And they cannot be placed on the sides of blocks like regular vines. They can only be placed on the bottom. So you can just place them on the bottom, just like that. A really neat addition. Over here are the nether sprouts, which are actually so tiny you can't even see them in my hand. They will spawn in the warped forest biome. And this is soul soil right here, which when you light it on fire, flint, and steel, it will become blue fire. And you walk on normal speed around it. It dominates one of the biomes, which is what I'm in right now, the Soul Sand Valley. And I'll be getting more to the biomes later in a minute. Over here, some different properties, some of the plant life. So if I take out a nice, good stack of bone meal over here, I can show you some of the properties. So if you want to try and farm some of this Nelium stuff in survival mode, you can use bone meal. Now, if I right-click this regular netherrack with bone meal, nothing happens. But if I right-click netherrack adjacent to a Nelium block, then it will begin to turn into that Nelium. This also works diagonally, as well as into the sides of blocks. You can just this all the way. So now look, now I've multiplied that Nelium block with some bone meal. And this works for the crimson variants of this stuff and the warped version. So it works with both of these. And these nether fungi act much like the warped and crimson fungi act much like tree saplings for the nether tree. So if you just right click with some bone meal, you can get a tree. Now this tree has a very small top, so we didn't get any shroomlight in it, but this tree may show. Just like that. We did get some shroomlight in it. We got 3 pieces of shroomlight. So that stuff will produce lav light. And it's a really nice addition to the nether biomes. Over here, some weeping vines spawn this tree. Just right there. That's a nice addition to all of this, and it's really fun. It really makes for really pretty biome settings. Over here is part of the Soul Sand Valley biome. These are large pillars of basalt that will spawn from the ceiling. These really skinny pillars, and when you get down to the bottom, they have an unusually large base. Down at them, this is the top texture for it. This is the side texture right here. And it'll just spawn these little skinny pillars from the ceiling of Soul Sand Valley. Another thing to know about Soul Sand Valley is these fossils that can naturally spawn in it. So over here you can find these fossils. They do spawn somewhat rarely, but considering how open the Soul Sand Valley is, it won't be hard to find one. And other things, my mob spawning is currently turned off, but if it was on, you would see very high amounts of ghasts and skeletons that spawn in this biome. And especially with lava patches of soul sand that you'll find here, if you run down soul sand and a bunch of skeletons and ghasts are shooting at you, they're both ranged, so it's going to be a tough biome to navigate. Over here is our brand new mob, the Hoglin. The Hoglin's not much of an AI right now, it just kind of walks around. If you hit it, weapon just kind of flops around and kind of turns away. It doesn't really do anything. If you're in survival mode, it won't attack you. If you hit it in survival mode, it still won't attack you, but I'm assuming this will change in later snapshots, and they'll be kind of developed more. Right now, their only drop is rotten flesh, but I assume that will be changed to some sort of edible meat in the future. This is the first snapshot we have. It has 40 hit points, and it's pretty cool. Over here is a very nice change to walls. Before, if you stacked walls on top of each other, there would be a little gap somewhere in between here, and walls looked awful stacked on top of each other. Now, they function like an actual wall. They all stick together on the sides. And you can even, really nice way to detail these, is by sticking walls in the back. It'll make these little ridges pop out. And that's a really nice way to add some depth to it. And another neat thing is when putting something on the top, it can instantly change all the stuff on it from all the way down. Instantly changes this particular wall block right here all the way down the wall, so that can be used to instantly transport observer signals. If you want to, that was discovered by Il Mango, and it's really cool. It's really cool. Nice life hack. Over here is a new command, the /locate biome command. This is incredibly useful due to its fact of just navigate biomes. You don't, like, if you want a mushroom biome, you don't have to load up 500 seeds until you find one, or like explore around for like 8 hours in one of your worlds trying to find it. Now you can just locate a biome. You don't have to use a particular seed. You can just do locate biome. Let's try to locate a mushroom one. Mushroom fields. Sure, mushroom fields. Now that won't be in here because I'm Nether, but if I want to locate a crimson forest, right here, and I press enter, it'll show me the coordinates. And I can even click on this and I want to teleport to it, but I don't want to do that right now. Over here is our handy dandy biome board, so it'll teleport us to all the different biomes. This biome right here is called the Nether Wastes. This is the original Nether with the original Nether generation. This is just kind of what it looks like. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I'm assuming everyone already knows this biome a lot. It was just the original Nether. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, Nether fortresses have not been changed. I really hope that in some of the future snapshots, these guys do end up having some sort of update, because they are really outdated. They don't really look that pretty, and be a lot nicer to have a more complex build for them, especially with what they did with villages in the 1.14 update. And as you notice, I do have the sign here to talk about particle effects. This one does not have one, but all the other biomes will have a nice ambient particle effect in the background, and I'll show you that in a minute. And this is kind of what it looks like with night vision. If you look at the fog, dark red without it, bright red with it, that's nothing really new. And then teleporting back, we have our first new biome, the Soul Sand Valley, which I'm in one right now, but to give you a clearer look at it, here's a brand new one that has not been touched by me. This is one of the fossils you can find. You can occasionally find crimson roots spawning in here. Right over here, you can occasionally find these in little small patches. Here's some that Blue Fire's talking about. There will be soul sand patches, and then soul soil patches. And yeah, you'll have this nice cyan fog in the background. You'll have some of these pillars of basalt. This area is oddly devoid of them, but these are pretty common. And usually they're really skinny, but sometimes they're really thick, like this one. And I think that's pretty much it for it. These fossils don't want to spawn in just ribcage forms. They can spawn in really any form. And then it has a nice, like, deep cyan kind of fog color, but if you drink night vision, it turns into a very bright blue. And with the night vision on, you can see it a little bit better, but I'm going to show it with you off. I'm going to show it to you with the night vision off. As you may see, if you can look at these little black dots, I'm not quite sure how video compression will work. It might get rid of a little bit of it, but if you look really closely, you can see these little black dots falling from the ceiling. And that is the particle effect of this biome. This is falling ash. There's a really nice ambient look to it, and I think it's really cool. Moving on is the warped forest biome, which over here, this is what it looks like. It'll have these little warped trees with all the stems and everything. Some of these have streamline, some don't. Has the nelium, the warped roots, and the nether sprouts dotting the floor. And then, if you look at this one, it has a nice deep purple kind of fog to it, which this is what it looks like with night vision on. It's kind of turns to this bright pink color, which is kind of nice. It does ruin some of the quiet ambience of it, but then again, you don't have to have night vision on. You can just take it off whenever you want to. Some milk. And the particle effect for this biome is, if you look closer here, you'll see all these little purple dots swirling around. It's a little bit easier to see with the night vision, so I'll pop that on. These little dark purple dots flying around, these are warped spores. And this is the particle effect that will be in this biome, so you'll find these everywhere. They don't really do anything. There's a nice ambient particle effect, and I think it's really cool. Now moving to our final biome, the Crimson Forest. This is a lot like the Warped Forest, just the red variant. It has the same fogs as the Nether. It is the same dark red with no night vision, bright red with it. It has these crimson trees, which the crimson trees spawn with the little weeping vines on them, which the warped trees do not. It has the crimson roots, the crimson nelium, some crimson fungi. And both these biomes can spawn the other type of fungi occasionally, but is not very often. And that's pretty much it for these. They have the regular warp trees. But, as you may notice, it is really apparent in this biome. All these little bright, pale, red, pink dots flying around everywhere, these are crimson spores. and these are a lot more apparent to see, especially when you're looking in somewhere without much terrain generated. When you just look up over here, there are so many of them swirling around. It's very apparent in this biome. So, moving swiftly on to our next area, we have a brand new ore, the netherite ore. This is one of the nicest, neatest, coolest additions and updates into the game at this time. It is really nice to have an update like this. This is the first new ore added to the game in over 10 years. I'm pretty sure. I'm not actually sure about that. Whatever, it's been the first new ore for a while. This is netherite armor. This is what it looks like. It has really nice, interesting texture. Over here is how you will obtain this netherite armor. This is ancient debris. I put it in a nice little display case, but here's what it looks like without some of the glass. This is ancient debris. Ancient debris will not be exposed to the air. If you find it anywhere, it will not be like exposed right over here. It will be always concealed within netherrack or within any substance that you'll find it, and so you will have to mine for it. Another thing about it is that it can spawn anywhere in Nether. It can spawn up high, it can spawn down low, it can spawn in any biome, so it's a little bit easier to find it in that regard. It will spawn in veins of 1 to 3 blocks. It's gonna spawn like in little sections of 1 to 3 blocks, and that's really nice. And if you mine it like this, you will get the ancient debris block, and smelting in a furnace, you will get a new item called netherite scrap, which will be important later. Another important thing to note is that this can be exposed open to lava. So if you have a bunch of fire resistance, you can dive into the lava, the giant lava pools, and try to find some down there. Nice little fact. This is a little bit more netherite armor. I'm wearing some enchanted netherite right now. And two really nice properties of this, other than just the amazing texture, is you will see, if I pull out some regular diamond armor, which I don't actually have right now, but it has one more armor toughness than regular diamond armor, and it has knockback resistance, as you may be able to see. The knockback resistance is really nice. It's exactly what it says. It helps you resist being knocked back by things, and that makes it really cool. It does have a slightly different texture than regular stuff, and that makes it really neat. This looks really awesome, and I really enjoy this. There are netherite tools over here which are more effective than diamonds. The netherite sword does 1 more damage than a diamond sword. Mine has sharpness on it, so it says 11, but it does do 1 more damage than a regular diamond sword. Look at this, 8 attack damage, which is really nice. You can craft a block of netherite with netherite ingots, and craft a couple other things with it, but how do you obtain these netherite ingots? So, what you're going to want to do is after you mine your ancient debris, you're going to want to smelt it in a furnace. And after doing that, you will get 1 netherite scrap. And after you take 4 of these netherite scraps, then you can take this, combine it with some gold ingots, as shown here. And when you take 4 netherite scrap plus 4 gold ingots, you will get 1 netherite ingot, which this is how you're going to be able to craft your armor. Now, this ancient debris is very, very rare. Some statistics that people have tested show that it spawns, that the spawn rate, now this is not counting that spawns in veins, but the average spawn rate is 1 in every 7,000, roughly every 7,500 blocks, so very, very low chance of finding this. But luckily, you'll need 1 ingot per armor and tool piece, so you combine 1 ingot with any type of diamond armor piece or tool piece, and then you will get the netherite equivalent. So if I put a diamond chest plate plus another ingot, I get netherite chest plate. If I do diamond pickaxe plus netherite ingot, I get netherite pickaxe, and it does that for everything related to netherite. And then you can craft a block out of it, which has really nice texture. And probably one of the most useful properties of this netherite is that netherite stuff does not burn in lava. Oh look, I have a lot of netherite armor. I don't want this stuff anymore. But watch what happens. I'll throw it into lava. Well, the armor stand's gonna be destroyed, obviously, but put stuff into armor. For good measure, why don't I throw all these things in here, too? But if you look at this, it all survives. You can go back in here, and I can pick all this stuff right back up. So that is a really, really nice quality to all of this. So it will not burn away or melt in lava. Coming over here are 2 properties that aren't that important on their own, but when you put them together, this is something really new. So both of them can be moved by a piston, regular piston and sticky piston. The netherite blocks and ancient debris blocks. What makes this really nice is they are indestructible blocks. If I take some of this TNT right here, some flint and steel, And another piece of TNT. Place some TNT right here. Go ahead and light this bad boy up. As you can see, nothing. And the same goes for this ancient debris, which makes finding it with TNT a bit easier because you won't accidentally blow it up. So as you can see, no blowing up this stuff. This stuff will stay here forever. And that is really useful because this is the first block we've had that is movable by piston and indestructible, which I'm sure won't do that much, but I'm sure it can help in some redstone builds, and it will be kind of a neat thing to use and test out with. So yeah, I'm going to leave that with people who know redstone stuff, know what they're doing with that, because I really don't. But yeah, another thing to note about the netherite armor is that they are more enchantable. I was pretty sure I had an enchantment table somewhere. I don't know where I put that. Whatever, it'll be fine. But it is more enchantable than the other tools, except for gold. But it's more enchantable with diamond, which means you'll get better enchantments, or at least you'll usually get better enchantments from enchanting stuff with it. So that's pretty nice. But gold still has best enchantability. But let's be real here, gold is not practical at all. It sucks. Anyway, moving on from this, we have new light sources. Our first new light source is going to be Shroom Light. This thing produces light level of 14. You can mine it, you can destroy it with any block, and you'll just get the block. No dust or anything like that with the glowstone. It seems to work best with axes. I haven't tested it with much else, but pickaxe, sword, and shovel seem kind of slow. So yeah, axes are going to be the tools you want to use in this stuff. You can just pick it up like that. It has light level 14. It has a really nice texture, and I'm looking forward to using that in some of my builds. Over here is the Soulfire Lantern. It produces a light level of 10. And let's be real here, this thing is awesome. Just gotta place these wherever you want. You can hang them, place them sitting down. They don't produce that much of a light. So for practical use, these aren't that great, but these are really nice. And we have Soulfire torches, which you'll need to craft Soulfire lanterns. Over here, these things also produce light level 10. You can sit them on sides of blocks, you can sit them on radiated blocks. They behave like normal torches. And the only difference is that to craft them, you'll just put a regular torch recipe, and then beneath your stick, you will put one piece of soul soil. You'll just put some of that stuff down there, and it'll be all nice. This thing has light level 10. Over here is the soul fire, which you can find by lighting regular soul soil with a flint and steel. It's like this. And this is what it looks like over here. We will also produce a light level of 10. So that's pretty cool. Coming right over here are new block sounds. So now you can have new block sounds for placing these blocks and walking on them. So I will demonstrate a little bit of this. Okay, so our first one is going to be the nether bricks. As you can hear, really nice bricky-like sound if you want to walk on these things. You can hear that little very brick-like noise. So pretty nice. Over here next up is the bone block, which has a very satisfying sound as placing it. Now this one does not have noise changes in walking on it, it's just with placing these blocks, so really nice change. Coming right over here is soul sand, which I'm not quite sure if it has had a change with walking on it, but placing it definitely does. Let me turn my music volume down a little bit, so that way you can hear this a little bit better. You can hear a very sandy noise, but you can also hear a kind of almost breathing sound. Listen again. Which is a really nice sound. I really think that suits this block. Just get rid of this. Coming over here is netherrack, which has had a very nice change. Not quite sure how to describe it, but I really like it. So that's what that noise is, and there is a different noise for walking on it. I actually forgot about that one. So just build a little bit out over here. So that's what that thing sounds like. Nether quartz has also had a sound change, which kind of sounds a little bit like the nether bricks when you place it down. And then for walking on it, I'm actually not quite sure if that's had changed at all. Yeah, just mine some of this stuff away. And then for placing nether wart down, I'm not quite sure if you can get this one as well, so I'm going to build a little bit more soul sand out so that I can place this down a little bit better. Now listen to this. It's almost a little squishy sound. Yes, that's what that thing sounds like. Through all the new block sound changes, so that is a very nice change. I'm very welcome to that. And then, moving onward even further from this, we'll be going to our next section. So now, coming over here, and on our little beach, we have a new addition over here, which is that pistons will no longer pop off blocks when those blocks are placed on the back of it. So if we flick this lever, the pistons are extending, and sure enough, nothing pops off. This is true for buttons, pressure plates, redstone torches, redstone repeaters, and levers. So that is a very nice change. It allows for a bit easier in some redstone contraptions and a bit more compactness in some cases. Over here is a change to shipwrecks and ocean ruins. They will now be spawning a lot less frequently, which I do think is a fair change. They spawned a lot more than they probably should have before. It was kind of overpowering, so I can't understand why Mojang has made that choice. And now, moving onward, we are almost done with this video. Moving down over to here, a change to redstone. Redstone now has a bottom texture. Before, it did not. So when you put it under glass or under barrier blocks, nothing would show up. It would just be invisible. Now, as you can see, it is visible from underneath. A change over here is that patrols will no longer spawn when you are close to a village, because that created a lot of accidental raids and a lot of issues. So no longer spawn when you're close to a village. Really nice change. Over here are two changes to composters. Number one, composters will now be found in the decoration blocks tab in the creative inventory, rather than, I don't actually know what they were in before. I'm pretty sure it was miscellaneous. Now they spawn, or not spawn, now they are located in the decoration blocks section with a lot of the other blocks like it. And another change is that composters will now display sounds and particles when used by Hopper. Before, they had to be interactive with the player to achieve sounds and particles. But now, as you can observe, after I turn my mob settings down because the villagers are being very noisy, particles and sounds. So very nice change there. Another new change that is very nice is that pistons now have a default tool to use on them. Before, breaking with pickaxe with your fist, it would both be the same speed. Nowadays, it is a pickaxe that's better. So now this is the speed with my fist. This is speed with a pickaxe. And this is speed with my enchanted netherite pickaxe. It's a little bit faster, but yeah, so they actually have a proper tool now. And now over here, we have our final thing to talk about, which is the damage rates for blue fire and regular fire. So taking off my armor over here. If I step into this regular fire, after a couple minutes of being in it, it will deal me half a heart damage each time, pretty consistent. And now if we go over to our blue fire, it will begin taking 1 full heart each time I get hurt with it. So more damage to the blue fire, so be a little bit more cautious around that, because that will deal you more damage. And with that, we come to the end of our video. I really hope that you enjoyed. It's been really fun making this, and I really hope you liked it. Okay, bye.